Old school Runescape's PvP system is unique, one of a kind, and there's really nothing quite like it out on the market. Imagine an everlasting game of rock, paper, scissors using both hands at the same time, that not only involves outplay potential and strategy, but where precision, speed, and endurance is a matter of life and death, followed by a skill curve that can be very daunting, but even more rewarding. This is old school RuneScape PKing. In this rock, paper, scissors analogy, you have your offensive hand, which is the gear you're wearing and attacking with. Mage gear and mage attacks can be thought of as paper. Range gear and range attacks can be thought of as scissors. Melee gear and melee attacks can be thought of as rock. As for your defensive hand, this can be thought of as your protection prayers. Protect from magic nullifies magical damage. Use this when your opponent is in this gear. Protect from missiles protects from range attacks and range damage. Use this when your opponent is in this gear. Protect from melee is used when your opponent is smacking you in the face with melee weapons. Now with both your offensive and defensive hand, you must predict, react, and respond to your opponent's defensive as well as offensive hands. For example, if your opponent's defensive hand is on range, aka scissors, you would react by changing your offensive hand to paper. Furthermore, you see that your opponent is using melee, aka rock. In turn, you're going to want to react by changing your prayer from protect from range instead to protect from rock to then nullify the melee damage that they are going to attack you with. Now this almost turns into a game of cat and mouse where we're constantly cycling through different attack styles, trying to get hits on our opponent when they're praying the wrong prayer. Our opponent is trying to do the same thing to us, so we reactively change our own defensive prayers in coordination to their offensive hands. But the PvP system just doesn't end there. This is just the basics. As mentioned earlier, a variety of steps can be taken to outsmart our opponents into using the wrong defensive prayer. Methods of outplaying include showing one attack style, but in the last moment switching to a different attack style. This is called a fakie, the tip of the iceberg. When it comes to predicting, our opponents usually tend to have a certain attack style that they like to do. In this case, we're noticing that they like to go to mage, and that's what they did. So we predicted it by going to mage. Again, we think they're going to go to range because that's what they've been doing. And what do you know? They went to range. So that right there itself was 2 predictions. And now for this third one, they're running away. We're praying range. So obviously they're going to go with mage. And what do you know? They do go for mage. And that is our 3rd prediction in a row. Examples like this showcase the importance of precision when it comes to PKing. One single misclick at the wrong time with our defensive prayers allowed for us to die and lose about 3 to 5 hours of in-game work. My opponent's click speed and mechanical skill easily showcases the necessity of muscle memory, allowing them to clap my cheeks as if they took a bluey. However, if you're unable to keep a steady tempo of click speed, then your opponent will easily outlast any and all attempts of being killed. Endurance is just as important as speed. Don't be that person. This is why I fell in love with PKing. Fundamentally, it's the most unique PvP system I have ever tried, and with all the micro outplays that exist, the skill ceiling is on an entirely different level, something that appeals to my competitive nature. So if this is something that interests you at all, come check out this playlist.